Ideas. There are ideas that change the way we work.
In other centuries, they would have called it magic.
Ideas that got us connected.
Well, hold the line a minute.
That made us communicate better with each other.
Hello?
Ideas that got smarter and smarter and smarter. They're the ones that caused revolutions.
Goodbye, David.
And others that seem like a thing of the past now. There are the ones that are obsolete and ideas that promised us freedom, but in the end delivered us nothing but stress, that we tried to compensate with funny ideas. We thought of something different. A simple idea that turns idle workspace into places where you connect with companies, where you share knowledge with other creative minds or digital nomads. Where you are is where you work. You spend fewer hours on the road and you gain precious time for a better work-life balance. It's called Work Hero. Is it a game changer?
I beg your pardon?
We like to think so, but we'll let you be the judge of that. Check out Work Hero on workhero.com. Work Hero, connecting space and knowledge.
I'm delighted, and I hope we'll be able to do it again, and also that the solutions which were showcased here can maybe inspire real-life solutions in the future.
Es un honor que hayan contado con nosotros como aceleradora, con nuestro programa Startup Europe Accelerator, en el primer hackathon con el director general de innovación de la Comisión Europea para soluciones en el campo de cambio climático y reducción de emisiones.
I also congratulate Finova, which was part of the winning team, a team which worked on a really interesting solution to make construction at long last sustainable. Well done. Thank you very much.
La Fundación Finnova, con el proyecto Circoax, busca empresas y autónomos innovadores para promover la economía circular en el mundo textil y de la moda. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. From Brussels, from Workero, is from the heart of the European Union in the headquarters of the European Commission, to this new event, Next Ghana Generation EU. It's our first event linked to Africa, and we are going to talk during this afternoon in this week. We are under the week of energy, and we are going to talk about the big challenge of energy and the cooperation European Union Africa. We will have three panels. An institutional panel about the European Union and Ghana, a long-lasting cooperation relationship, and after we will try to talk about EU funding, and you will have the vision from there, but also from some companies in the field of innovation. Some of our colleagues will talk about European Union funding, and that's it. And what we have to understand is that we are in the year 2021. We are starting the new financial period 2021-2027. That is under this pandemic, and the problem of the COVID, and we have to understand that there is a legal framework, that is the European Union and Ghana cooperation, that has been reinforced after the second revision of the Cotonou Agreement in 2010. The debate is to understand if now we are in a better legal and financial framework than before. Prior to that, the Cotonou Agreement, or in African, Caribbean, Pacific, European Union Partnership Agreement, it was signed in June 2000. At the time, it was the most comprehensive partnership agreement between developing countries and the European Union. The focus, as you know, was political development and economic and trade cooperation. Thanks for the second revision of this agreement, the European Union and Ghana's relation, as well as the rest of ACPs, took an important leap. The second revision, 2010, was focused on strengthening cooperation to address pressing issues such as cross-border challenges, climate change, and food security, to name a few of them. The relationship between the European Union and Ghana has also progressed thanks to some other agreements, some of them under the umbrella of the United Nations. Ghana's economy has been improving and increasing steadily over the past years. This growth stems from the industrial and service sectors, mainly thanks to oil production, a growing construction sector, and mining. If we see about the trade, overall, Ghana's top exports are oil, gold, and cocoa beans. From the European Union perspective, we have to understand is one of the most important trade partners for Ghana. The European Union mainly purchases from Ghana cocoa products and mineral oils, and Ghana buys from the European Union machinery, transport equipment, and mineral oils. In 2008, Ghana and the European Union entered into an interim economic partnership agreement. The agreement was ratified by Ghana in 2016. This agreement facilitates trade and access to the European Union market for the Ghanaian exporters. Duty-free, quota-free access for Ghanaian products coming to the European Union. And since the 1st July 2021, there is an effective implementation by Ghana of the IEPA between the European Union and Ghana. Ghana thus started liberalizing access to its market for 18% of the total volume of EU exports business. About business, Ghana top the destination for business and investment in West Africa due to stability. The European Union Ghana IEPA facilitates the operating and investment of companies in Ghana. It also allows to trade in the wider African market. Business environment will be improved thanks to the IEPA. And what we are going to launch at the end of the event today will be the Energy Africa Startup Europe Awards. That means we would like to identify low-cost technologies in the field of renewable energy, energy efficiency for sharing this knowledge from the European Union and to Africa. Energy is a key issue. And that's it. Okay. I don't know, is what we are going to start. And we are going to start with Mr. We are going to connect here from Brussels to in the same country, in Belgium, to Alexander Charalambous, team leader. He's going to talk. He's coming from EU Switch to Green Facility, and his presentation will be about the pace and scale of the sustainable energy transition. And okay, the floor is yours, Alexander, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello from Brussels and the European Union Switch to Green Facility. Thank you for inviting me to this Next Generation EU webinar. My intervention indeed focuses on sustainable energy as a pillar of the green economy transition. Sustainable energy is a major challenge globally and a rising challenge in both the European Union and Africa. renewable energy production, energy efficiency, but also the accumulation of waste from energy-related equipment and facilities all pose significant threats to both the environment and the economies in Europe and Africa. And at the same time, the pace and the scale of the sustainable energy transition is not matching that of environmental and social challenges. And that includes also the climate crisis, as we saw recently in the COP26. Now, this brings me to my first key message that I would like to convey today. We need to intensify our efforts. And the European Union's ambition is to do more, not only in Europe, but in partner countries as well. Technologies as solar power irrigation systems or small hydro-powered agri-food processing, even waste-to-energy systems are cost-effective solutions, and these are already applied in many African countries. So here is my second key message related to the previous one. We need to accelerate the take-up of such affordable and sustainable solutions, and we need to make sure that this take-up is scaled up. Let me share a few ideas with you about how we can do this based on the European Union's experience. First, we can support an evidence-based dialogue, a dialogue on the potential of renewable energy, of energy efficiency, but also of circular economy to significantly contribute to social and environmental objectives. Such a dialogue can be catalytic to setting the African economies into a path for a global carbon growth. A global low carbon growth. The EU, together with partner countries in Africa and globally, works towards inspiring and learning more about sustainable energy, about energy efficiency and circularity, and how these can contribute to environmental objectives. Some results of this collaboration were presented at the World Resources Forum, held in Ghana and in Switzerland last month. In many countries, there is also a need to improve the business environment. The business environment for sustainable business models and markets, which are related with energy development, with energy storage, distribution, and use. And this entails coherent policy frameworks, cutting across several policy areas like industry, environment, finance, and employment, of course. It also includes new regulations, for example, on improved and harmonized standards and on green public procurement, and resources for compliance, monitoring, and enforcement. Now, this requires close engagement with the private sector. The new Switch to Circular Economy Value Chains project, which was launched by the European Union, together with UNIDO, the European Investment Bank, and other partners, offers an interesting model, which combines support to SMEs with engagement with large EU companies to use the power of trade and to demonstrate how entire value chains directly related with energy use, like the electronics and ICT, for example, they can become more circular. Another area where action is needed is access to finance and the mobilization of investments. And this is a key enabler to scale up sustainable energy business models and investments. With the European Fund for Sustainable Development Plus, the EFSD Plus, which integrates the objectives of the EU Green Deal, the European Union is well equipped to contribute to this major challenge. And we have some recent experiences also from the first pilot phase of this fund, which was implemented in Africa. The application of sustainable energy business models, investments, and practices need to go across value chains. And that therefore calls for the development of appropriate capacities. The European Union supports both businesses and the public sector to build the capacities that are necessary to integrate circularity in their business plans and operations. And we have a recent example of such practices, such interventions within the Switch Africa Green Program. And last but not least, the sustainable energy transition needs to be just. Despite all of its opportunities, such a transition will also mean job losses in some sectors. And the pandemic has already raised unemployment in various countries. So this transition will need certainly to make sure that will not leave people behind. Those most affected must be prioritized and supported, notably with the new skills development and with job opportunities, for example, in the circular economy. Closing up, and as the EU is advancing on the programming of its new Global Europe instrument for the period 2021-2027, an instrument which integrates the EU Green Deal as one of the key priorities for Europe and globally. I expect that the European Union will be able to scale up its support to sustainable energy, beyond renewable energy production, beyond the traditional renewable energy interventions, to also promote energy efficiency and circular economy business models in key value chains, areas where the EU and Ghana cooperation has already been quite substantive. For example, through the Switch Africa Green Programme, as I said before. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alexander. And now from Brussels, the capital of Europe, we are going to connect with Canary Islands, with Fuerteventura, and because we are just some days, let's say 1 week and 2 days before the Africawa. Is the biennial event in Fuerteventura every 2 years that is about, in this year will be water and energy. We have prepared interpretation in English thanks to our colleague in Finova, Eduard, who is going to provide the interpretation. And we are going to connect with Mr. Juan Jesús Rodríguez Marichal. He's the president of the Chamber of Commerce of Fuerteventura, la Cámara de Comercio de Fuerteventura. We are talking of the 7th edition. Will be the Water and Renewable Energy Forum. It's you should fix in your agenda. Will be from the 30 November up to 1st December, and it will be. We will launch some key interesting project like climate risk from the Canarian Institute of Technology. That is a new patent that facilitates energy low cost technology, low cost technology for Africa. And Juan Jesús Marichal, tienes la palabra.
Y buenos días a todos. Muchas gracias por habernos invitado a este webinario. Felicitar a Finova por la iniciativa y el compromiso con la movilidad sostenible y las energías renovables. Como comentaba, desde la Cámara de Comercio, junto con el Gobierno de Canarias, a través de la Viceconsejería de Economía e Internacionalización, la Dirección General de Relaciones con África y instituciones como el ITC, como has comentado, que va a participar, y Proesca, y también a nivel de Estado, la Casa África y el Instituto de Comercio Exterior, y por supuesto el Cabildo Insular de Fuerteventura, que es el órgano de gobierno de la isla. Como también comentaste, este es un evento que se va a celebrar en el 30 de noviembre y 1 de diciembre. Es un evento relacionado precisamente con unos sectores muy parecidos a este webinario, que tienen ese carácter, ese mismo interés, como es el agua y las energías renovables. Estamos, si bien comenzamos en el 2011 con un evento a nivel, los eventos eran anuales, se pasó desde un tiempo a esta parte en eventos bienales, y por eso estamos en la 7ª edición. Los objetivos sobre todo es saber de primera mano cómo está evolucionando el sector de agua y de las energías en África, saber de primera mano cuáles son los planes que se están elaborando en África para ver en qué medida se pueden buscar esos partenariados para participar en la ejecución de esos proyectos, que se puedan dar esa transferencia de conocimientos que en principio entendemos que son fundamentales. El evento, precisamente como a todo el mundo nos afectó el tema del COVID, el formato que veníamos celebrando normalmente, que era formato presencial. Esta vez lo hemos convertido en un evento semipresencial en la que la inauguración, los panelistas y en función de cómo vaya evolucionando el tema de la pandemia, habrá una participación según nos vaya permitiendo todo el protocolo que nos lleva el tema de esta pandemia, ¿no? Sí es verdad que se va a mantener el elemento que más valoraban los participantes, que es el B2B. Yo desde aquí se va a emitir vía streaming en tiempo real, pero también se mantiene el recurso del B2B que para los participantes es ese instrumento tan valorado. Y nosotros lo que queremos es que hacerles llegar, porque incluso el ámbito de la actuación de Africagua en esta edición también cambia, porque nos hemos adaptado al ámbito de las políticas europeas y se han ampliado. Los países participantes van a ser Marruecos, Senegal, Mauritania, Gambia, Costa de Marfil, Cabo Verde, Santo Tomé y Príncipe y, por supuesto, Ghana. Tenemos la participación en principio confirmada del ministro de Energía de Ghana, el señor Matthew Opoko, y nosotros, sin más, cualquier pregunta o cualquier interés, lo tenemos, también está en la página de Africagua, y cualquier tema que pueda estar relacionado con esto, pues nos lo pueden preguntar y estamos a su disposición. Desde aquí los invitamos a que participen en esta 7ª edición de Africagua.
Muchas gracias, Juan Jesús. Bueno, ¿y nos puedes avanzar qué países han confirmado?
Confirmar, quedan pendientes, queda precisamente Ghana y el tema de Costa de Marfil. No sabemos quiénes van a venir exactamente, pero sí participan. Lo que queda pendiente en principio es solo Ghana, de los que mencioné antes. Es decir, de todos los que comenté: Marruecos, Senegal, Mauritania. Por Mauritania viene también el ministro de Hidráulica. El país invitado en este caso va a ser Cabo Verde. Vamos a contar con la presencia del primer ministro de Cabo Verde, así como el ministro de Agricultura. En definitiva, los países que hemos mencionado van a participar todos. Lo que no sabemos es si solo van a haber países que van a estar a un nivel técnico o ya a nivel mucho más alto, como puede ser en este caso Cabo Verde, que es el país invitado que viene con representación a nivel de primer ministro, ¿no?
Pues muchísimas gracias, Juan José. Thank you very much. And now we are going to connect. We are going to go to the second panel. Is in innovation and entrepreneurship, the emergency of a youth anticipating the expectations of tomorrow. And we are going to connect with Mr. Jacob Fotun from United States. He is from the Global Prosperity and Clayton Christensen Institute. He is a research associate, and he will present the transformation power of market creating innovation. And also, if you could please present the Christensen Institute. Thank you, Jacob.
Most definitely. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me here. It's such a pleasure and honor. So my name is Jacob from the Christensen Institute, and I'm going to go into details of that in a few slides, so bear with me on that. For the one takeaway that I hope everybody in the, either on YouTube live or on the chat or people that are here, is that what we at the Institute have found out is that there is this innovation called market creating innovation that is really powerful and that can transform Africa, Ghana, Africa, as well as other growth economies as we have defined it. So I'm just gonna give, one thing that we always do at the beginning is just do a fun quiz. And I know I have just 7 minutes, so please bear with me. But this is a few stats we always share with our audiences when we do this presentation. And if you guys don't mind, just less than 30 seconds, if you guys can. What is the government expenditure per citizen in the United States in 2020? So we have A, 29,000, B, 850, C, 550, D, 250. If you have any suggestions, if you can put that in the chat, and I'll appreciate if some people are willing to participate. And I'll just give 30 seconds or less than that. I see B, 850. Any other guesses? Just Gamile participated. Someone said closer to A. Close enough. C. Great guess. Gamile is all the 120. Okay. For the interest of time, is A actually. So the US spends on base last year $29,546 for a citizen of per citizen in the United States. So which is pretty significant. Just the last quiz here. Let me see what I messed up. For this one, just in less than 30 seconds, what is the government expenditure per citizen that the government of Ghana spends per citizen as of 2017? So the last answer was A. Someone says C. So just for interest of time, right, the answer is C for this case. So I bring this up because what's important is that we have to pretty much always look at the role of government when it comes to innovation, right? Or the role of government when it comes to the impact that it can create in society, right? In the US, it's close to about 29,000 per citizen, but in Ghana, it's $400, right? So we have to always put that in perspective as we always think of the impact of government in different countries and how much they can spend per citizen. And it goes to the question that we really have to understand the importance of innovators, especially those who are watching here, and how much impact they can create in the market. And with the power of market creating innovation, which I'll go really quickly on, there's so much power that we can, as innovators, make a difference in our countries as well as in Africa. So the next slide. Okay, so just pretty quickly, I'm going to talk about, one takeaway that I want to make sure is that we should understand the power of market creating innovation and why that is important in unleashing economic wealth in Africa. So just about the Chris Szeni Institute, right? It was founded by a really amazing professor. Unfortunately, he passed away last year. He goes by Professor Christian Szeni. And basically, he co-founded this institute, which I work at right now. It's called the Clayton Chris Szeni Institute. And the goal of it is that we are trying to use disruptive innovation as a force to improve the world and to solve pressing issues from healthcare to education and all that. The person I work closely with, his name is Efosa Ojomo, and he leads the Global Prosperity team. And we have two simple questions that we try to ask, right? What's the causal mechanism behind prosperity, and how can we endanger and how does that endanger poor countries, right? And we found out that market creating innovation is a very good force to make this happen. So just to get before market creating innovation is we want to have a common language of innovation. There are many ways that people define innovation, but most importantly, one thing that is very important for us to understand is that innovation has to have a common language as a point of reference for all of us to have a discussion on innovation. So to go into the definition of innovation at the Institute, we say innovation is the change in which you provide input of lower value to transform outputs of higher value, right? So it's important for us to know that that's just the common language of innovation. But now we know not all innovations are created equal, right? And we're going to define what all innovations are not, why it is important for us to find that differences in all the innovations. So the first type of innovation at the Institute is called sustained innovation. So if you look around you on your phone and as well as your computers, most of what you are using are just innovations that just makes products better, right? And for the most part, and a good example is your phone. We always think that is disruptive innovation, but it's not really disruptive innovation, because at the end of the day, we are just making existing products better, right? And this is really good for the economy. It makes the economy exciting and thriving. But for the most important part, we don't really necessarily create a lot of jobs in the market. The next type of innovation that we'll talk about is efficiency innovation. So efficiency innovation is just do more with less. So for example, when Walmart comes into a neighborhood, for the most part, most of the small businesses are exited out of the community, right? It somehow makes things efficient in a sense because the operating cost is lower on average, but for the most part, jobs are eliminated and it has a negative impact on development. But what I want to talk to you about is market creating innovation, right? It costs a lot of, it's more expensive, which I'll go in the next slide, but this one actually creates new market opportunities. And we go after people that don't necessarily fit into the existing market. And this is actually the missing puzzle of prosperity, right? How do you actually create this type of innovation where you target new consumers and you actually enable development in the process? And almost always, this type of innovation creates create jobs and actually creates long-term wealth for the community. So I will just end with this. Sustained innovations, most of the time, they don't cost much, but the payback is short-term, midterm, sorry, it's not short-term, midterm. It doesn't, and most of the time, you just have to align your business with the existing processes that exist. For efficiency innovation, it costs much less, right? Because if you look at some of the reports—
1 minute, Jacob, 1 minute.
Yeah, sure. If you look at some of the reports that come out, short-term payback is much more likely for efficiency innovations. And this almost always happens when you have companies that always release their core earnings and you see that they have not made a very new innovative product or reach out to existing customers, but at the same time, they have had a higher profit margin, right? Most of the time, that is what's called efficiency innovation. They've actually just outsourced some of the assets on the balance sheet. But for market creating innovation, it requires more capital. The market doesn't necessarily exist, and you have to actually create new processes to actually build that. So I will just end with this. There's a popular African innovator called Mo Ibrahim. He went against the contrarian bet and built a company called Celtel that ended up creating one of the most profitable mobile companies in Africa. And he actually went for new markets. He created a phone company in the early 2000s that it was not popular. Most people didn't have access to technology, to internet at that time, but he used market creating innovation, targeting new customers to create a new market that created a lot of access for people all over Africa to have a lot of phones. And this has created a lot of wealth. As a result of that, of Celtel 7 years later, and even now, that most African countries are benefiting from that. So I'll just end with that. Mo Ibrahim is a very good example. We have to focus on market creating innovations to create a lot of wealth.
Thank you very much, Jacob. Thank you very much. And now we are going to connect with the Netherlands, and we are going to connect with Professor Lender de Bel. Where are you, Professor? You're in silent. You're in silent.
I'm in Utrecht at the moment, in my home, in a new lockdown.
Okay.
Let me see if I can share my screen.
Okay.
Is visible?
Yes, it's visible. He comes from the Utrecht University of Applied Science, and he's going to inspire us about mobility and energy and the new opportunities and challenges in Ghana and Africa. about the entrepreneurial ecosystem and institutional voids. For us, will be also interesting his vision about the entrepreneurship paradox and the focus on productive and growth-oriented entrepreneurship. What focus us in the entrepreneurial challenges and entrepreneurial opportunities. And it will be just 1 week after the COP26, during the COP26, and after in the chat we are going to publish a link about an event we organize about mobility. The floor is yours, Professor.
Thank you so much, and also thank you for the invitation. It's an honor to be part of this great event. Just a little background. So I am academic staff member of the Center of Entrepreneurship at Utrecht University in the Netherlands. I do a lot of work on entrepreneurship, also on social entrepreneurship, in many cases in relation to developing regions and economic development. And in this context, I've done also a lot of projects and programs in Latin America and also in East Africa. And apart from that, I'm also appointed professor to promote labor participation for refugees at the University of Applied Sciences in Utrecht. And today I would like to, in the few minutes that I have, I would like to zoom in on the opportunities and challenges of let's say, starting up a business in Africa, and in particular in the context with mobility and energy, of course. And I will zoom in on 2 concepts that I think are very relevant in this context, which is on the one hand, the need for to look into or to think in entrepreneurial ecosystems. I will explain this in a minute. And also the context of how to deal with what we call institutional voids. So a very broad, let's say, starting point. What we've seen over the past 10, 15 years is, of course, that there has been a strong promotion from not only local governments, national governments, but also supranational bodies to promote entrepreneurship as a way to promote also development, because of course, ideally it generates broader benefits to society. Think about, creating productivity, jobs, and the competition, of course, also what Jacob already talked about, also helps to stimulate and promote new innovation. As such, of course, at the end of the day, this might also contribute to general well-being. What we need to be aware of, and this is something that I looked into also in my research quite a bit, is that obviously not every type of entrepreneurship is necessarily beneficial to the general well-being. So we need to look into what types of entrepreneurship do we actually, or do we really want to promote, and how to do this. And this is a bit the same about what Jacob already mentioned in the previous presentation. Also in terms of the types of innovation, not every innovation necessarily will contribute to the general well-being. So Juan Manuel already introduced the entrepreneurial paradox, and what it's really about is, if we look at the incidence of entrepreneurship, so people who are actively engaged in setting up a business or running a business, in particular in the African context, these numbers are really, really high per capita. But we don't really see this back. We don't really see the effects in this in how they contribute to economic growth or gross domestic product. And the reason behind that, and I think our African colleagues can relate to this, is that in many cases these are very small, sometimes even informal, replicative, non-scalable businesses, which are rarely a source of employment except for the actual founders. So these type of enterprises are not growth-oriented or innovative entrepreneurs that also we've heard in the previous presentation. So what we are looking for, of course, is the type of entrepreneurship that creates new value, that comes up with new products or services, or find better ways to organize or do things. And here we have the phenomenon, and I think we should be really aware about this also in the African context, between what we call necessity-driven and opportunity-driven entrepreneurship. And we should not, be, let's say, be too. We should be very aware that quality in this case of the entrepreneurship matters much more than quantity. So the focus should be on productive and growth-oriented entrepreneurship. As I stressed before, this really contributes to the competitive advantage, and it usually also fills what we call voids or needs of the customer. So also here, it really provides something new, a new contribution to what is essential in a particular society. Well, what we also know, of course, is that this type of entrepreneurship obviously requires generally more knowledge, more capital, more technology. So also the risks of failure are much higher in this type of business. So also here, you need much more investment in education, skills, and also obviously capital. And this, of course, can be a challenge, in particular in the context of Africa. And how to overcome this is one way to overcome this is not just to look at the entrepreneur itself, but also look at the surrounding environment. So how supportive is the surrounding environment? And this is what we tend to relate to as entrepreneurial ecosystems. So that's the supportive environment for high growth or growth-oriented entrepreneurship. And I would like to share this model with you from one of my colleagues, Eric Stam, who has worked a lot on entrepreneurial ecosystems. And as you can see in the bottom, what is needed, so as in any ecosystem, so the analogy obviously is taken from biology, but you have different elements who are all related, and they all influence each other. And in this case also, of course, you have to look for the weakest links. And in many cases, you have a few framework conditions that need to be in place. You have to have supportive institutions. You have to have a culture that supports entrepreneurship. You have to have a physical infrastructure, and of course, also a market demand. And there are some systemic conditions, networks, leadership, finance, etc., talent, knowledge, that are important. Sorry, my alarm is going off. So also here, you see that the output of this, if you do this, is indeed new businesses, new ventures, entrepreneurial activity, which eventually the outcome would be aggregate value creation. And as you can see, this also feeds back again into the ecosystem. So it's also in many research, it's a bit of a chicken egg discussion. So what comes first? But what we need to zoom in indeed is on how to strengthen the elements of the entrepreneurial ecosystem at the bottom in this case. Because of time reasons, I will skip this quickly. This is an overview of the Global Entrepreneurship Index, because I hear you thinking, so that's all very nice in entrepreneurial ecosystem, but how do you do this? So what we need to look into is in the attitudes, the abilities, and the aspirations. And you can see that if you look at the attitudes, here you find issues that are related to the culture element, which is also in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So here you can really find also data to feed or to assess your own entrepreneurial ecosystem. Well, to finish up, I would like to include one, I think, relevant discussion or conceptual discussion, which is also relevant in the context of Africa, and this is what we call institutional voids. So we always see also in the World Bank doing business index that institutions are problematic. Setting up a new business is difficult in these contexts, but they mostly look at economic, political, and social aspects. I think a very helpful discussion in this is from Kanu and Pelepu. They focus on the presence, or in many cases, the absence of what we call market intermediaries. So these market intermediaries make sure that that let's say they are sort of the information asymmetry, that you don't know information about the market, that these are
30 seconds, Professor.
Yes. Last slide. Sorry.
Please.
So coming to the opportunities. So on the one hand, the institutional voids are challenges, but it also offers opportunity, because the absence of these intermediaries, of course, is a clear necessity where new businesses can step into. And in particular in the mobility and energy sector, those are, as we have seen, essential elements of the framework conditions. So this has to do with the physical infrastructure, which, as we all know, is still needs a lot of investment in the African context. So we should focus on this high growth businesses that step into these voids, look for these innovative ways to fill these voids, and also at the same time be aware about all the other elements of the framework to strengthen this as a whole. Thank you for your attention. I'll leave it to that.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor, and we will be in contact. In this kind of events, we like to do networking, to start thinking and working in new projects, new consortiums, and exchange of new ideas.
Would be my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Bedankt. Okay, now we are going to connect concretely with Cornelius Narte in Accra, in Ghana, and he's is Mr. Gamelia Datso. He's the Regional Program Manager of Just One GIAN Lab, and he will present how to promote innovation in Africa through open science and technology. Is what we try to do here from Brussels with Startup Europe Awards, our open innovation tool, and also how to go from the science into innovation, and about the open science paradigm. What Just One GIAN Lab institution does, its projects, goals, and impact. You have the floor, Kamel.
Yes, thank you very much, Finova, for the opportunity to be part of this brilliant forum. So my name is Gameli Ajaho. I'm calling in from Accra, Ghana, and I want to talk about enhancing innovation in Africa through open science and technology. So a lot of what was said today, it's around how do you overcome the challenges in Africa with science and technology. And I think that making science and technology accessible to everybody can play a big role in solving their problems. And for example, in Ghana, there's a lot of challenges around infrastructure, employability, education, and capacity building, etc. And as we've seen from the earlier presentations, these are elements that have to be in place to be able to promote opportunity-driven entrepreneurship. And to be able to have a regime of opportunity-driven entrepreneurship, we need to be able to, first of all, foster scientific research, and then be able to apply that research to go into innovation. So there's a value of the shadow of death, so to speak, that prevents scientific ideas from ending up as innovative products and services. And again, as we could see from the previous presenter, if there are challenges with culture, funding, infrastructure, education, etc., there will be less chance of being able to create sustainable innovation. If we want to promote entrepreneurship, youth participation, and economic development in Africa, we have to be able to support science and technology to thrive, so that we can be able to create more solutions to face challenges. So we promote the open science paradigm, which enables low access to infrastructure, low access to information, so that individuals can be able to contribute to creating knowledge and be able to create innovations. So I'm going to share with you the activities of various youth networks, because as was pointed out in the previous presentation, one of the systemic ways of fostering entrepreneurship and innovation is to ensure that appropriate networks are in place. So in Ghana, we started with the Global Lab network community, which is a community of young STEAM students and young community of STEAM students and young professionals who are interested in coming together, engaging on various science and technology topics to create a shared learning environment, and then be able to pinpoint certain challenges in education or health or in the environment, and then try to design solutions to tackle these challenges. And as a community, we've been able to work together on different solutions, from digital literacy to STEM education, environmental health, and rural innovation. And this is very important because to be able to capture the attention of young people from a young age, you want them to become the problem solvers of tomorrow. Their training, the way they think, has to start from now, and they have to see themselves as contributors to solutions, even in this present moment. So here are some pictures from some of our sessions and activities, both online and offline. And these activities also take place both in rural areas and in the urban areas or in cities as well. Another community I'd like to talk about is the Africa Open Science and Hardware, which basically brings together groups like Global Lab from across the Africa region to come together, and as well as invite our colleagues from other parts of the world to learn and share in an open environment. So far, we've successfully had 2 Africa OSH summits in Ghana and also in Tanzania. Unfortunately, due to COVID pandemic, we haven't been able to have our summit, but we also organize regular online exchanges. And there's an Africa Institute for Open Science and Hardware set up in Cameroon. This is to look at research, look at scientific development in a different angle from what we are used to, because we don't always need heavy infrastructure to be able to be involved in innovation. I'd also like to share the work of Just One Giant Lab, which is also principally about identifying some of the systemic challenges we've talked about: infrastructure, funding, access to knowledge, access to experts, and creatively provide those tools and resources to both project leaders and individual citizens who are contributors, so that they can also be part of solving the challenges of our time. Essentially, we want to be able to achieve the sustainable development goals in a collaborative and cooperative manner. So Jogo operates at several levels. On one hand, it's a digital platform, app.jogo.io, that any organization, including several of your own organizations, can sign up to and use the tools available to.
Really, please, we are out of time. Yeah?
Okay, I'll wrap up.
30 seconds, 30
Yes.
seconds.
The tools available to set up your project. We also work cooperatively in a community-driven manner to be able to create challenges around specific issues that people can come together to solve. So basically, what I want to say here is that building communities around thematic issues can help us to address some of the challenges of our time. And as Jogo and as young people in Africa, we are really open to collaborating with other institutions to work together to promote youth entrepreneurship. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Gameli. We are going to count on you because we are looking for national partners in Ghana for the Ghana Startup Europe Awards. And then I hope from Monday we can talk with any interested to have a partnership for this Startup Europe Awards from the DG Connect European Commission. And now, from Ghana to Ghana, we are going to connect with Cornelius Narte in Accra. He's volunteer from the Africa Association of Entrepreneurs. Cornelius, you have the floor. You are in silent, please. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and to share my own a topic I call volunteerism, the possible learning channel for innovation. Association of African Entrepreneurs is a volunteering organization founded by a
Excuse me, the sound is not really clear. Could you please approach to the microphone and to talk more slowly? And yes, because we don't listen.
African Entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Association of African Entrepreneurs is a volunteer-run organization coordinated by a network of national teams. As a virtual organization, we engage in business development, poverty alleviation around Africa and beyond. is informal learning is seen as a learning that goes on in daily life, learning projects that we undertake for ourselves or working with experienced workers. The current formal education system in Ghana did not exist before the 19th century, and growing children as part of the socialization process served as domestic house helps within their extended family settings. Farm helps, apprentices, where they learn contact skills. Informal learning today. Today, there are still more master craftsmen and apprentices, waiters, kiosk operators, artisans who continue a daily life journey in small ventures and have no formal education. With formal education beyond their means and limited or hindered pathways into the formal education and training system, they face serious skills gaps that impact their income potential and lower their social mobility, which affects national development. These people constitute the informal sector. They operate in margins of formal or mainstream activities. Their activities are normally outside the conventional scope of government regulation and assistance. In Ghana, this is the sector that is most affected by income poverty as a result of unemployment and underemployment. And for many years, the informal sector has received increasing attention in the development discourse. The present and current government always know parts of the answer to the question of employment and extreme poverty lie in financial services economy. By making finance accessible to these people, the country is able to provide for needed to turn around their means of livelihood and take them out of poverty while bringing them into formal settings. However, this approach is often decoupled from the benefits of skills retraining, facilitated internship with graduates and experienced experts. The effect is that while a number of financial interventions are being provided, the scenario of these financial houses alone working to drive the change only results in the proliferation of petty trading and redundant enterprises. AEE, we try to connect volunteers and experts and knowledge to small-scale entrepreneurs and cottage industry owners to provide better opportunities for the informal sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Cornelius.
Thank you very much.
And now we are going to, we have some, I don't know if someone has a question or a remark to do to any of the speakers up to now. I don't see any question. Okay, we are, at the moment, we are connected 51 people. That is really good in a Friday afternoon. Okay, then if there is no questions, we are going to connect with the panel 3, that is energy and mobility, the challenges and opportunities in Africa. If I may, here in Europe, with the perspective of the European Union, mobility is a key issue for the entities as Finova that believes in the values in working against climate change. Not only that, we have a report in Europe that says around 50,000 people dies every year because of, in cities, because of the contamination, air contamination that comes from the transport, diesel, etc. There is a big challenge in the cities about the what they call last mile or last kilometer, and it's because of that in most of the cities in Europe they are working with the electrical cars, with new regulations limiting the old vehicles. There are in the debate a lot of different and potential technologies, electrical cars also for delivery, We are also working with the Belgian group Punch in these pickups that are very used in Africa, that could be work with hydrogen instead of diesel. Why not? Hydrogen is quite important because has power, and also because allows these pickups that can go up to 1 ton of weight. There are also the possibility of biodiesel. Why not to use the recycled used oil from the hotel, restaurant, and catering to do diesel? Why not to use gas? We have a quite interesting project called Ecodigestion that allows to obtain gas from the depuration water treatment plants to use that gas also for vehicles, is what is happening at the moment in Palma de Mallorca. But okay, that's the debate from Europe. Of course, what we need is real connectivity and how to do that. And it's because of that we are going now to connect with Regina Nesiama Miller, Mrs. Regina Nesiama Miller from United States. She's principal renewable energy specialist from the African Development Bank Group. And she will talk about the importance on a cohesive and just transition for African peoples and societies, and the role of the innovation led by young people as catalysis for the economic development. And we would like to listen from you, Regina, about the opportunities for renewable energy and mobility nexus in Africa in general and in Ghana specifically, and the energy sector and mobility challenges in Ghana, and mitigating ideas to consider. And the floor is yours, and your vision about the call to action. You have the word.
Thank you so much, Juan Manuel. Thanks for that intro, and thank you also for speaking about the importance of mobility and also the climate and societal impact as well. And thanks so much for the invitation. I'm a big admirer of Finova and the amazing work you do to support startups and accelerate innovation. Thanks for the invite to this really important event. My name, as you've said, is Regina, and I work with a really dynamic team in the Renewable Energy Department in the African Development Bank to identify and implement renewable energy projects that support our shared goals of achieving universal energy access in Africa in the short term. Sorry, I won't be using a presentation today, but I just wanted to share a little bit about what we do and our perspective on these two really important issues. The African Development Bank supports regional member countries from two aspects. We support inclusive growth and green growth, and we have a commitment to support countries in achieving growth that is not only inclusive, but that is sustainable. And as we know, Africa is a land of opportunity. We embrace entrepreneurship in many ways, and we try to find innovative solutions, which we've heard a lot of today. The African Development Bank has been a stalwart supporter of the government of Ghana, and in the last decade alone, we've provided around $1.4 billion in various sectors in Ghana, including support to the private sector as well. So you will all agree with me that energy infrastructure is an essential building block for economic development and for the quality of life as well. For Africa as a whole, energy access is fundamental for development. I see it every day in my life, and I'm sure you all do too, that stability, improved health, environmental outcomes, and other positive outcomes also even in urban and rural development comes by having true access to energy, and this is supported by the SDG goals as well. So, the African Development Bank places a really important emphasis on a cohesive and just transition for African people and societies, and we've embodied this through our high fives, which is to light up Africa, to feed Africa, to industrialize Africa, to integrate Africa, and very importantly, to improve the quality of life of the people of the region. So the AFDB's New Deal on Energy for Africa aims to achieve universal access to energy in Africa, and we're working through several initiatives to bring this to fruition. The Desert to Power initiative is one I work directly on, and it covers 11 countries in the continent and aims to provide around 250 million people with access to electricity by generating 10 gigawatts of solar power. So the first phase of this initiative focuses on the G5 Sahel countries, not far from some of which are really close to Ghana. And the ambition here is to address energy challenges and address extreme poverty manifestations and other issues such as migration, conflict, food insecurity, and desertification, working across 5 pillars, including both grid and off-grid solutions as well. I would also like to talk about very briefly the Facility for Energy Inclusion, because I think this is one that would be interesting to the youths that are connected. It is a facility that is implemented under the umbrella of the Sustainable Energy Fund for Africa, coordinated by the bank. And it's a direct access lending platform which provides blended finance to increase renewable energy in the sub-region. The solutions it targets are both on-grid and off-grid solutions. And it actually helps to shore up ideas and support ideas, small-scale ideas for IPP, which may not always get funding. So we've heard a lot today about youths. I've really been excited to hear the various presentations. Youths are a really important element of our development agenda as a bank, because we know the importance for Africa. By 2040, Africa will become the world's most populous region, taking over from China and India. And this growing population, it really now calls the need for modern and efficient energy sources to support industrial production, cooling, and mobility. And addition to that, just to emphasize that Africa will be and is the youngest population of the world. And so this means that we need to really have policies that focus very well on youths. The Ghana National Youth Policy is a step in the right direction, and it mainstreams youth as future leaders. I know this may sound as a cliche, we're always talking about youth as future leaders, but I think it's really important to keep saying it and until we believe it and have policies that back it up as well. So because youth have the intellectual capacity, they have the ability to think outside the box, and they approach problems differently. Really, I enjoyed Gameli's presentation that showcased how what youths are doing in the innovation space, and this is really exciting. Ghana has had plans, for example, to invest in coal in 2016. Youth advocacy changed the direction of this through grassroots youth movements and social media campaigns. The government agreed to change those plans. So, we've heard several people talk today about the importance of youth and accelerating economic development through innovation and disruptive technologies. This is something that we have to emphasize, because despite all of this, the unemployment rate in Ghana still remains very, very high, especially amongst the young people. Professor Lendert de Bel expanded on this when he talked about the high interest in entrepreneurship, but has not necessarily led to economic growth. And this is something that is a major inhibitor for that we consider. But you see, Ghana is a step ahead of most countries, because one of the major drawbacks of investing in innovation is energy access. But Ghana already has, by 2017, 80% of its population connected to energy. And so this is really good. But Ghana has a problem with overcapacity. And this is one area I just want to talk about in talking about the sector challenges. Ghana is producing more energy than it can use. And this is as a result of, power purchase agreements that were signed recently. I don't want to go too much into the technical aspects, but what it means is that it creates a problem, because electricity is expensive for the end users. The government has to supplement with budgetary allocations to meet its contractual obligations to the private sector and to meet the negotiated power purchase agreements as well. But this situation can also create an opportunity. And I just wanted to close by really emphasizing 3 areas that are opportunities that could be harnessed by the government. The combination of overcapacity has led to financial constraints, as I've said, and accumulation of debt in the sector. But what the government could do is also to take advantage of this and to do three things, in my opinion. The first, opportunities for regional trade. Ghana could trade in the excess capacity that it has generated. The West Africa Power Pool currently supports, through support also from the AFDB and other multilateral development banks, initiatives to send power to other countries in the West Africa region. And this is one area that Ghana could scale up to address some of these deficits that comes with overproduction. The second opportunity I'd like to emphasize here is scaling up of manufacturing, using actually the excess capacity at home and supporting mining, supporting manufacturing of solar parts and components, for example, and other productive uses of energy. So African countries have set really ambitious goals for economic and industrial developments that are in line with SDG 7. But you see, the young population provides an opportunity here. The young workforce is technically skilled, it's adaptable, and employment numbers tell us that we could use this growing population as a means to address manufacturing of solar components, as I mentioned, and really the manufacturing sector in Ghana is it's underutilized. It only accounts for 3.2% of GDP between 2008 and 2017. So there's really opportunities there. Another opportunity lies in scaling up renewable energy in Ghana. One thing that we noticed is as this issue of overproduction was going on, most of the initiatives for off-grid electricity that the country had that were active at the time of electricity shortage many years ago were slowed down or even stopped. And that's because these initiatives were taking people off the grid, and the government wanted people to stay on the grid. And so something like the National Rooftop Program that was launched during the power crisis was stopped. And so, when we talk about over 80% of the population being connected, there's opportunity for renewable energy to be scaled up. Renewable energy only accounts for a very small percentage of energy production in Ghana. And I'll speak maybe finally about mobility. Ghana has successfully transitioned, and I know Juan Manuel, you're probably going to tell me I have 1 minute left, but I'm just going to say
30
something.
Seconds. You are
30 seconds.
You are out of time, 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much. But really, I just wanted to mention something about mobility. You talked a little bit in your introduction about the importance of mobility, but I just wanted to give one example. As Ghana moved to a middle-income country, it also experienced rapid urbanization. I was reading an article recently about Rwanda using electric motorbikes. Love them or hate them, motorbikes are the means of transportation in most cities. But through a startup called Ampersand, Rwanda is pioneering the use of switching to electric motorbikes and doing like swaps that take minutes. And these are things that, opportunities that could also be explored. Yeah, I know we'll hear more about mobility, but thank you all for having me, and I look forward to engaging in the rest of the conversation. Thanks.
Quite interesting, and we have offered you more minutes because today is the day of the United Nations about women and entrepreneurship, and we are delighted to listen to you. And I profit the occasion for inviting all of you to an event we are going to co-organize with the Network Business Market with Mr. Josu Gomez in Algeria next 11 and 12 December about women entrepreneurship and Africa. Anyway, we are going now to connect with South Africa, with Santa Blumen, Managing Director and Founder, and for Mobility for Africa. And I think she's going to share with us renewable community-based transport solutions for the sub-Saharan Africa, and that are affordable, efficient, and friendly environmentally. What about the risk of lack of mobility solution in rural Africa? And your vision about the Agenda 2030? And what about this micro-mobility solution for first and last mile delivery? The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And I know I've got a limited time, so I'll try and stick to time, and grateful for the opportunity. And it's great to hear the other panelists talking about mobility. I'm sitting in Harare at the moment in Southern Africa, where the Body taxi, the motorbike taxi, is not yet common, but where we have been testing out the potential of e-tricycles in rural areas. And essentially, I don't think I need to tell the African audience about the problem. For any of us that have spent time in the continent, we know that women spend a huge amount of time walking and carrying heavy loads. And to be frank with you, I don't think we talk enough about the mobility crisis the continent faces. While there is huge movement to urban areas, we know that most people are moving to urban areas because we don't have enough investment in rural areas, and we haven't made rural agriculture as desirable and practical as it should be. We still face huge challenges with women spending hours walking. Service delivery is never delivered in the most efficient way. Women, die on the way to the health clinic. Kids don't get vaccinated. The social and economic consequences are huge. And we've decided to focus on rural, even though a lot of people have said to me, why not urban? Why not start with the easy urban? It would definitely be easier from a business modeling point of view. But my argument is that if we are going to solve the continent's problems, we need to focus on rural. It's still where 70% of the population live. Agriculture is still, in most countries, the largest employer and part of the economic sector. And I mean, the numbers vary. There's no scientific numbers. There's the figure thrown around about 450 million people in rural Africa don't have good infrastructure and transport. I have another figure of at least 40% of the continent's population living at least 2 kilometres from a paved road. So when we talk about last mile transport, we really need to remember those that live off the main road from town to town and who need to commute quite long distances to a market or to a road to get transport to a more lucrative market. And so this is what we've been exploring, and we believe there's huge potential by using the green energy revolution and the investments going into green electric vehicles to actually adapt that technology for last mile. I mean, as I said, I've just covered this, but we know the stats are there. Anyone who spent time working or living in rural areas know that the economic and social consequences are enormous. And I think it's already been mentioned in the conversations, but mobility and infrastructure are the two barriers. And while I think we talk a lot about roads are great, but if we don't have transport and the transport is not servicing the people that need it, then we are not solving the problem. And I would argue that we need sort of a multiple pronged strategy. So while it's great that we get better roads, we need transport to tailor and tackle the off-road areas. And we need something that's user-friendly. Let me go quickly to what we've been doing. We've been testing out a tricycle, and the tricycle we took off the shelf from China, but we have spent 2 years adapting and piloting how to make it better for rural Africa. We've also been working on a model which says, I mean, as we know, there's an energy deficit in rural areas. So how do we create a battery swapping system? How do we invest in batteries that are tailored and suitable for rural areas? How do we look not just at an individual and are they rich enough to afford a tricycle, but rather how much does a community in general spend on transport and how much are they willing to spend on transport? So we start taking the concepts that are being applied in global circles around shared mobility and applying them in an African context. So we have a rural transport logistics service, a mini Uber, so to speak, working in our community. We're now scaling to 2 more communities in the next 2 months. We run a fleet management system, and we have different types of users. So I'm still struggling to convince those with the money that this model can be viable. People like simple spreadsheets. But when we look at the demand in a community, we know that most people spend 20 to 30% of their income on transport. They're often willing to spend a lot more, especially if it will lead to productivity, if it means their tomatoes don't rot, if they can get to school or the health clinic, and if it solves their problems. And just to say on the gender front, we chose specifically, so at the moment we've only been piloting with rural women because we want to prove that they can drive motorised transport. And what we know is often rural women especially don't straddle, so bicycles and motorbikes have certain utility. Often they have to carry a hell of a lot of stuff. A child, a 50 kg bag, a 20 kg bag, 20 litres of water. So essentially, how do we ease their burden? And the tricycle carries 300 to 400 kilos. So it's very functional.
Thank you, Santa.
Sorry. So am I missing my time? I've got 42 seconds left. But just to tell you, the trends are all there. People will tell me that batteries are too expensive for rural populations. I think we have to solve the climate crisis, and we have to also solve the mobility crisis. So what we've done is designed and developed bespoke batteries that we hope will last at least 400,000 kilometres in a tricycle when properly managed, and then add a second life in battery storage. So the technology is there. It's how do we work and work in a community, build the skills needed to build an ecosystem, and be much more practical in our approach. Build the plane as we fly, rather than wait for everything to be ready. And just while my last plea is that while there's a lot of money now being committed to the low carbon transition, we need a lot more risk taking. We need a lot more experimentation. We need a lot more field testing and piloting. And at the moment, having spent 3 years in this space, I am extremely frustrated how difficult it is to find the sense of urgency and the need for people to actually, really charge ahead with experimentation. We have a lot of technology, but it needs to be tested for the African context, and we need to talk to our users and communities and build the skills so they can own it and maintain it. So I'll stop there.
Thank you very much. And now we are going to connect with Nigeria with Mr. Festus Loma. He's senior specialist in the Nigeria Electrification Project, and he will present some case studies within the scope of the topic. You have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. I feel very honored to be on this panel. So after the Paris Agreement in 2016, presidents and heads of government signed a treaty on behalf of their countries to reduce carbon emission and prevent a climate change disaster. This gave birth to the Nigeria Electrification Project in Nigeria, which is a World Bank funded project with parallel financing from the African Development Bank, which aims to scale up electricity supply in rural and urban areas using renewable energy. It has 3 components called the Energizing Education Program, the mini-grid component, which aims to build mini-grids in communities, and also the solar home system, which is grant-based to encourage local developers. It's worthy of note that the European Union is the largest international donor in the world, and it's worthy of note to know that while Ghana also has like an 86.63% energy access across board, and by 2024 plans to have universal access. Talking about electricity mobility. Electricity mobility in Ghana and Africa has actually achieved a great milestone. You have motorcycles, e-tricycles, which help to prevent gas and carbon emissions, and also to help the local communities to be able to have good transportation. What are the challenges? The challenges in this area comes in terms of finance and also infrastructure for charging. What are the opportunities here for e-mobility? At the Paris Agreement, the treaty stated that the developed countries must take the lead to provide technology transfer, capacity building, and also to provide funding for all the African countries which are still developing. When you look at the energy sector, we look at the components from generation, distribution, transmission, and storage, with the desire to mitigate climate change disaster. You can see what we're doing in our project, in the Nigeria Education Project, where we are building solar hybrid power plants in universities, and also building mini-grids in communities. And these are grant-based. This forms part of the opportunities for developers who have capacity to be able to build and earn grants. It's a win-win situation for the project. It achieves its goals and objectives for providing electricity access to rural and urban areas, and also for the developers who earn a grant for building these plants, and they own it for life. It's a build, own, and operate for life. And they earn tariffs from the communities and household enterprises and households in those areas. And I'll make it short. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Festus. Now we are going to contact Mr. Tony Tiju from United Kingdom. He's from the edition side. He's editor-in-chief, founder and CEO of Renewables in Africa. And we are going to present a video from him.
Hello. I remember I was attending this event, and it was actually a very filled event. It was very, very good. I had many people that were there. So brilliant speakers, and they showed this image. I remember this satellite image that was showing the distribution of power across the globe. And I don't know, but at that point in time, this is where it hit me, because I looked at that image showing the distribution of power across the globe, and I could see that amongst all the continent, there was one that was particularly dark, and it was the continent of Africa. And I remember the name of the event was the Electrification of Africa. And it really shocked me at the time, really, because although I grew up in Cameroon, which is Central Africa, so I never realized that the situation was so concerning at that time. And it really shocked me. It even made me angry. And pretty much right at that time, this is when I decided that I wanted to be part of the solution and not just complain, right? So I needed to be part of the solution. And bear in mind, I was an automotive engineer, ASEAN automotive engineer, because that's part of my degree. And I decided, yes, I want to be part of the solution. So I decided to make the transition right at that point, even if I didn't really know how to make it happen. Yeah. But I made a decision. And long story short, right, after going through ups and downs, right, left, center. So I managed to do it. So I trained myself into renewables energy, attended many courses, and then I worked for other companies, right, to acquire the knowledge necessary to rub shoulders with people in the industry. And ultimately, in 2016, I created my company, Renewables in Africa. What is Renewables in Africa, you may ask, you guys? So Renewables in Africa, it's a clean energy engineering company, right? So what we provide, it's a solution for businesses who are looking to reduce their energy cost, right? And also get rid of the power outages and be able to do that to them in more or less about 4 to 6 months, it depends, by providing clean energy solution. An example could be solar solution, fully funded solar solution. So this is what we do. And beside that, we are also a media platform. Why? Because it's very important for us to make sure that we can spread the message all across the continent of Africa. And this is what we do. And I realize I've not introduced myself up until now. So my name is Tony Teo, right? So I'm the founder and CEO of this company. And then with regard to the topic of today, which is renewables energy for sure, but also the mobility, right? So how can we obviously provide renewable mobility for the continent, smart mobility? So I would say, first of all, we need to understand that we're all talking about the climate change. We're all aware of that. Obviously, we had COP26 not long ago, but 3/4 of the emission are CO2. That we all know. But what we don't that much know of as people, it's that they actually, the IPCC, which is the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, has listed 7 sectors that are the major contributors of that emissions. And basically transport, it's one of them. Yes, when you talk about transport, it's all the way we are moving around, the vehicles, so the planes, or well, anything you can think of, right? The trains and so on and so forth. So if transport is one of them, it actually represents 14%, just like the image I'm showing just right now, as you could see. So we need to decarbonize. If we need to decarbonize and reduce the level of emission, we need to decarbonize all those 7 sectors, including transport. And this is where now you see coming those electric vehicles, as we're talking about. And with regard to the continent of Africa, so I think it's going to take some time to have the EVs because the infrastructure will require time to be built there. However, we already have, let's say, the local version of the electric vehicle is actually the electric bike, right? That you can see. So whether you're talking about Rwanda or Nigeria or Kenya, there are definitely some examples there. And I can even say, me personally, so I'm engaged at the moment with a couple of entrepreneurs that are looking at electric vehicle in electric bike in West Africa too. So definitely it's an area that I will strongly encourage people to look at because there's a lot that could do there. So motorbike, that's a major means of transport in West Africa for anybody who is living there or who has traveled into this place. So yeah, I would recommend people to have a look at that. And so as people as well who wants to become solar entrepreneurs or solar developer, that's really very much needed in the continent, right? Because like I said, if you want to tap into this potential and expand it, we need solar entrepreneur. And actually, I would say, so we're running a workshop next week that's going to be on solar entrepreneurship. So if you are interested, definitely make sure that you attend. So I'll pass on the link. I can actually list it there, but I can pass on the link as well to Christelle so she can share that with everybody. And we'll be more than happy to give you more information about how I did it, for example, and how it can potentially be useful for you. Last but not the least, I just want to say as well that talking to businesses, because we're working a lot with businesses, we're providing solar solutions for them, as I mentioned. So sometimes some of them will ask me, right, so, okay, I want to be sustainable, right, but how can I make it happen? So one of the things that we do very quickly, so we put together a very short, I would say 5 document where we're listing 9 ways, 9 ways for people to become, to go and become sustainable right now as of today. So I'm also going to be sharing this material. So I can give you a link so that you can have a look at that if you're looking at becoming sustainable as a business. So all in all to say that unfortunately I can't attend directly in person, but very happy to support this event. And like I say, yes, it's our responsibility, all of us, to make sure that we can make this place a better place, and we should all make our contribution. So thank you very much, and don't hesitate to reach out to me if anything needed. So thank you for that, and all the best.
Okay, we have this intervention from Nigeria, and after this intervention from United Kingdom about renewables in Africa. And we will be in contact with Tony to send press release and information about energy. Okay, now we are going to, I would like to announce, because we have some minutes, we have, sorry, yes, we are going to put a video after about climate risk. Is in that Africa event that Mr. Marichal has present, we are going to organize a round table about a quite interesting technology that has been developed from the Canarian Institute of Technology, because United Nations and the Red Cross demanded it, and the idea is how to generate low-cost renewable energy in Africa. It will be the first 30, the following 30 November and 1st December in Fuerteventura. That video about the process will be at the end of the session after the launching of the Energy Africa Startup Europe Awards partner search. Okay, and now we are going to connect with in Italy, with Mr. Roberto Bigotti. He's the Secretary General of the Risk for Africa Foundation. And Roberto,
yes.
dove stai?
A Roma.
A Roma, Roberto.
Sì, Roma Eterna. Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
The floor is yours. Buonasera.
Thank you so much. Buonasera. It's a great pleasure. I'm sorry I'm not able to make the full screen, but if you can help me otherwise, well, okay, you can see the image. I'll go quickly to the presentation on why Rest for Africa Foundation is so interested in working also in Ghana for renewable application. First of all, I want to say that it doesn't move, actually. I don't understand why. Just a second, because it seems, I don't understand. Just when I come back to the sharing, and I share again. It doesn't move. Sorry. You can see my application, but I don't understand why. I'm clicking, I did a test, but it doesn't go as should. And well, I'm so sorry about that. Let me see.
Try to go to the following slide in your computer.
Please. I try, but it doesn't move. That's why I tell you. I don't understand why it's not moving, because I did the test, it was working very well. And I know that, I'm sorry. Can I send to you my presentation? Somebody, you can move it?
Yes, if you can send to digital@finova.eu.
Okay, thank you so much. I send you, I speak later, okay? Good, go ahead.
Okay, but in the meantime, could you explain what Rest for Africa Foundation is, please?
Yes, the Foundation Rest for Africa is a club of entrepreneurs from Europe and with a link to Africa, and we claim to create an environment which is favorable for deploying renewable investment in the country. And we are working on several issues, particularly on creating this environment by analyzing the role of policy and regulation in the country. For Ghana, we also made a survey on the risk perception of investor there. But you see, Joanna, if I cannot see my slide, I don't have them on my screen. So unless I let me see, I just read them. Okay, now you, go next. Okay. Yes. This is the situation of the mission. Next slide. And you see that the members are Enel, Siemens Gamesa, Acciona, Schneider Electric. We were working together since 10 years to create a bridge between Africa and Europe. And today I want to concentrate, next slide, I want to concentrate on some of those issues. Now, the first one, I don't want to read them. All of them are available on our website, www.res4africa.org. And those are the 8 topics we do address together. I will like to go next slide for the sake of timing. Next slide. We made an assessment of the Ghana energy and electricity snapshot, and we see some development. In fact, we noticed in the last 10 years, there almost 500 megawatt of capacity being added, and of course, increasing also in the access to energy. So not enough. Before we discussed why Ghana is in overcapacity. Actually, Ghana is not overcapacity because of power purchase agreement. It's because they made a take or pay deal with the fossil fuel company, and therefore they are obliged to use gas before they can even increase their share of renewable. So this is a dramatic regulatory and policy situation. Next slide is the most important of the whole thing. Go next. You will see that in the survey we have done, can you go to the next slide? Okay. You can download the survey of the investor on Sub-Saharan Africa we made with the PwC, and you see on the right in the square, what are the factors that private sector people perceived when they want to go to Ghana. In Ghana, they think 73% say the inflation and currency risk is very high. Then comes the counterparty and sovereign approach, financing availability, transparency and fairness of market mechanism, and local content requirement. Those are the key factors which makes the investors be suspicious, or at least slow in investing in Ghana. So I think you can download this from my website, and you can see the whole story. But that's important to know, because true or not, this is the perception that people have. Then we also, go ahead, next one. This is very important for you, the findings for the investor survey. We think that we have to establish a consistent link between energy sector planning and power procurement. Otherwise, we cannot give the visibility to the investor regarding the future. We have to increase also in the procurement mechanism. They have to be more competitive. We have to increase investment in grid infrastructure, electrification. We have to review the local content requirements. We have to reduce the risk for debt distress and restore stability. And we have also to financing availability to strengthen the capacity of local people. Next one. Sorry, I'm late. The risking in Ghana Renew Africa approach is that we launch an initiative to be backed by this company, in addition to ours. You see ADF, you see European Bank, to make a comprehensive program for the Commission to address an overall approach. Because so far, we have 75 instruments from Europe, all of them are very fragmented. Next slide. In Renew Africa, in this year, next year, we'll do a presentation to our financial support ideas to the Commission, and to open the European Investment Bank, and the DFI will provide this guarantee. We are rolling out the exercise to cover some country. Ghana is one of the next one, and we'll intensify dissemination. You see, those are the 4 levels: dialogue, support, capacity building, and technical assistance. Next one. You will see also in Ghana. We want to produce an outreach event in Ghana country comprehensive, focusing on scale, covering grids, providing a holistic approach. And you see in the next one again, sorry, our rolling out in the country. We did the Mozambique, we are doing Kenya in December, we are going to Ghana at the end of January, and we keep going country by country to address those issues. Next one. Also, going in a country, we also will discuss the role of grids for Africa. We think that infrastructure is as important as clean energy. Otherwise, the planning of infrastructure and the planning of clean production don't match. That's very bad. Finally, together with UNECA, we studied Ghana in depth for studying the evolution and the challenge for regulatory and policy. And we're going to have early next year a dedicated webinar on Ghana. I finish now. I'm sorry for this test, but please download my presentation and go to my website. It's free of any registration, free of any password. And on library, you can download our production. Hope to be useful in the future to work with you again, particularly in Ghana. Thanks a lot for the invitation.
Roberto, grazie mille. We are going to count on you if you agree as member of the Africa Energy Startup Europe Awards is what we are going to launch today for the year 2022. And also we will talk because we are in the field of triangle cooperation and also we want to do projects. We are working with the ITC, Institute of Technology of Canarias.
Yeah.
And now we are going to go from Roma to, I think, Gran Canaria, and we are going to connect with Gonzalo Piernavieja Izquierdo. He's the coordinator of research, development, and innovation from the Instituto Tecnológico de Canarias, Canary Island Institute of Technology. He has more than 25 years of experience in Africa in the field of energy and water and desalinization, that means water and the challenge of energy. And I would like if he can share his vision and especially a project, Climate Risk, that at the end of the session, we will put a video about that technology. But you have the floor, Gonzalo. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes. Thanks, Juan Manuel, and good evening to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you and sharing a panel with prominent speakers like Roberto, one of my references in PV. So I'm a PV man. So yeah, I'm getting old, but Roberto is well, it's one of my references. So I will share my screen. I'm speaking from the Canary Islands. We are very close to Africa. So for those who don't know exactly where we are here, very close to the Moroccan coast, and here is a little bit extended. And we are a technology center of the regional government of the Canary Islands, working in many fields with many people also. We are 215 people. And we have been working a lot with African countries since the creation of ITC almost 30 years ago. So what we have been specializing in all these years and starting from our experiences in isolated territories like the islands are. So we have been focusing on developing technologies for rural electrification and for drinking water production using desalination, also water use, everything powered by renewables, and focused on small to medium-sized populational nuclei, so up to 5,000 people approximately. We have been working in Mauritania and Morocco, Tunisia, Cape Verde, Senegal, all the ECOWAS countries, and now we are very lucky because Ghana is taking part in the next Interreg European Union program. So we will be happy to share experiences and also to partner with you, to all of you, not only from institutions from Ghana, but also with other institutions like REST4Africa in all this very interesting deployment that particularly West African countries are facing in the next years. So This is part of our experience, small, even with our proprietary technology, like the one I'm going to show you now. But rural electrification, microgrids, also studies to increase renewable energy penetration in weight grids, desalination powered by renewables, like the plants you see there. So our own design and our own patents. So this is a summary of what we have done. Now, this ClimaRisk project that we want to present in the Africagua forum, which was also presented by Juan Manuel and Juan Jesus a little bit early in this webinar. So what we have done is, and starting from conversations with the United Nations Department for Humanitarian Response, we have been looking for refugee camps and also any place which is affected by climate change or any natural catastrophes or disasters. And what we have seen, there is a market there. United Nations and all these humanitarian associations do not, or lack of proper technology to do that. And what we have done is to, this is more or less statistics. So what the reason why we have been going into these developments, and here is our solution. So it's a mobile solution that can be very easily deployed in any place, consisting of containers. So standard containers. One is this power station, other one is a water station, cooling station. We have other containers with different types of desalination plants or cooling systems. So with the intention of a modular installation. So this there is a basic unit, but it can be expanded to several tens of kilowatts or even hundreds of kilowatts by simply adding more containers. So there is intelligence also in there. So everything is controlled by an intelligent energy management system, so that the flows, the energy flows, are properly optimized. And we have here the electricity. The power station is between 15 and 20 kilowatt of power. We have managed to put up to 20 kilowatts PV on this 20 feet container. Then we have this water solutions that can be both by condensing atmospheric water. The industry is beginning to provide solutions in this field of atmospheric water catchment. And apart, we can also deliver the solution of our desal systems that I showed you before in several places in Africa. It's a containerized desalination supplied exclusively by PV. So there is also the other option to use desalination, or if there is no well, or there is no, and there is only the air there, just using the condensation of the atmospheric air. And then we have the cooling systems with two solutions, one for refrigerating food or keeping food, and the other one for vaccines or medicines. So we want, as Juan Manuel said before, transfer this technology to any interested party, and we will do this in Africagua in a couple of weeks. The project has been awarded by Iberdrola before the pandemic, so now the pandemic has slowed down a little bit the technology transfer process, but we are now ready. And well, thank you very much. Here are my contacts. We would be very happy to share experiences with you and also collaborate with you, both in Ghana as well as in the rest of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gonzalo. Okay, one wish, Gonzalo, will be how to do networking. Now we have contact around near 60 people for new projects in the future in the field of energy, because there is a lot of challenges. A new funding. And now we are going to the fourth panel that is about the role of the European Union funding in this new period, 2021-2027, in the European Union-Ghana Partnership Program. And we are going to connect with our Director of EU Funding, Mr. Juan Viesca, a former civil servant from the European Commission. Okay, Mr. Viesca, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Juan Manuel, for inviting me to this interesting and important meeting. First of all, I want to congratulate you, Juanma, for the prize, the European Enterprise Promotion Award that you win in Slovenia these days before. We are really proud of it. We are really happy, and I think it's quite important for us. Okay, so thank you very much, and I'm going to explain you. As you should know, the European Commission has launched 1 year ago, more or less, a huge program to promote the recovery of the European Union due to the crisis of the COVID. Okay, this plan has, with this plan, we're going to invest 1.8 billion euros in the economies of the member states of the European Union. Okay, and we've got the possibility to finance a lot of initiatives and programs and projects all around Europe, and we can collaborate with different countries in a lot of countries in the world. Okay, in this plan there will be a part coming from the European Commission that is going to be used just only by the member states of the European Union. Okay, but normally we've got what we call the budget, the general budget of the European Union from the period 2021 till 2027, that has got different programs that can finance projects regarding innovation, energy, mobility, training, a lot of things. Okay, and there are a lot of countries that can participate. I'm going to explain you in this presentation different programs where Ghana or African countries can participate in programs from the European Commission, and they can get financing from the European Union. This is not let me explain you cooperation for development. This is cooperation between equal parts. Okay, and that's the interesting thing of this program. Okay, so I'm going to start presenting you a program that I really like very much. That is the Horizon 2020, okay, or Horizon Europe program, the new program, where a lot of countries from Africa can participate. As you can see in the image, for example, we've got the participation of Ghana in this program from 2014 to 2020, and all the projects that have been approved by the European Commission. Okay, as you can see, there are 42 contracts signed with Ghana. There is 61 entities participating in the program from Ghana, and their contribution from the European Union is of about 30 million euro to the country. Okay, as you can see, the main partners of Ghana are the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, the University of Ghana, okay, the University of Cape Coast, the Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, that is based in Ghana. Okay, so you've got the possibility to participate in innovation and research and development projects with different partners from the European Union. Okay, what do you have to do in case you won't participate in the future? Okay, this is a portal where you can see, this is a funding and tender opportunities portal from the European Commission, and nowadays there are 23 call for proposals. Okay, 10 they are open and 13 they are forthcoming, where countries from Africa can participate. Okay, this is quite interesting. And I have to tell you that the financing for this kind of projects is 100% for the non-profit organizations in all of the cases. Okay, so here you can see these 23 calls. There are energy storage, there are water, energy, food nexus, there's cooperation in malnutrition, agroecological approaches in African agriculture system. Okay, they're quite interesting. Okay, in case you want to participate, you just go through this call for proposals, you just click on them, and you can see all the conditions for participating in these programs, and you can see the budget for each particular call for proposals. Okay, there is a huge amount of money for this kind of projects, but as I mentioned, this is for research and development. Okay, there are another program that is quite interesting for me, that is a Erasmus Plus program. This is a vocational training program, educational program, mobility of student programs, quite interesting also. This program has nearly 30,000 million euros to finance a lot of projects all around Europe and all around the world. Okay, and in the case of Africa, you've got also the possibility to participate in this program. Here you can see in the screen the database of selected projects under the Erasmus Plus program. As you can see, there is 126 projects that are related, or there are entities from Ghana participating in the program. Okay, it's quite interesting. And for example, I can show you different examples. This is a green entrepreneurship as an opportunity for youth project. There is a project led by the Slovenian entity, and there are people participating, for example, for I Learn Foundation of Ghana. There's people from Argentina, from Nepal, from Indonesia, from different parts of the world. But you can't participate in this kind of projects because the funding is quite interesting. And for example, this project is nearly 150,000 euro to organize different activities all around these countries. Another example that I've prepared, for example, is Animate to the Global Change. And this is a project of about 115,000 euro, led by an entity from Portugal. And as you can see, there is a Hope Spring Foundation from Ghana that is participation. This program, compared to the Horizon Europe program, is quite easy to participate. So if you want to have a fixed experience in this kind of programs, please try to cooperate in the Erasmus Plus program. Okay, and a new thing that is quite interesting for Africa is, as you should know, there is a program called MAC, Madeira, Azores, Canarias, a program of the European Union that is managed by the government of the Canary Islands, that tries to cooperate in the Macaronesian space. Okay, and in the last period, there were Azores, Madeira, Canarias from the European Union, and other countries, so Mauritania, Senegal, and Cabo Verde, that participated in the program. Okay, this program financed till 75%, if I remember well, actions, projects, okay, regarding different thematics, quite interesting in the area. For example, here I've got an example, quite interesting, the Tree MAC project, that is a Euro-African network of natural spaces to promote improvement in knowledge, appreciation, and management of biodiversity and ecosystem. Okay, this is a project, as I mentioned, of the last program, and there are people from Canary Islands, Cape Verde, Senegal, and Mauritania. It is important that you know that the new program for the 2021, okay, as here you can see in the news of the television of Canarias, there will be new partners in this program, okay, and Ghana will participate in this program. There will be 7 countries from Africa: Ghana, Costa de Marfil, Gambia, Santo Tomé y Príncipe, and also Cabo Verde, Mauritania, Senegal. Very important program just to cooperate and to do things regarding different thematics. And this is a quite interesting program that we will work together with you in the future. Okay, so I haven't got a lot of time. I just want to mention that we are quite interesting to all the people that is listening today to this webinar. If you want to cooperate with us in this kind of projects, please do not hesitate to contact us in order to prepare any kind of cooperation or any kind of project. Thank you very much, Juan Manuel, and quite happy to be here in this webinar. Thank you, Juanma.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Viesca. And now we are going to connect with the province of Alicante, where we have our director of training and vocational training, what is very important for Finova Foundation. And I want to profit the occasion, Alberto, perhaps to share with our people that is listening for us, listening us from Ghana or from Nigeria or from other countries, that we have a program. We have a program that could allow young people to have professional experience in Brussels. And because also Finova is working with the Forum Euro-Africa. Anyway, you have the floor, Mr. Navarro.
Okay, thank you much. Thank you very much, Juanma. Thank you very much for inviting me to this this event. I will try to be very brief because it's very late. Thank you very much to all the people that is attending this webinar. And as Juanma told you, I want to explain all the possibilities that the European Union offer to the young people from Ghana and from Africa to develop an internship in Europe. So let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, so you are watching my screen, I think.
Sí,
I'm going to talk about the EU training and mobility youth for entrepreneurs. I will start talking about the Erasmus Plus program that Juan introduced before me, but I will talk about the mobility of people for learning reasons. That is the key action number 1 in this program. For the people in Africa, you can share the project, as Juanma told before of me, and you can ask your university if they have an internship or a training agreement with other European universities, so you can develop these internships in European universities. There are many different programs of cooperation between young people, students, professors, teachers in the vocational training, university training. There are plenty of different programs that you can apply. So this is an example of different programs that you can see in the website. And now we're going to talk about the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. This is an entrepreneurs program that is one of the most important exchange programs in the European Union. This is also for people from third countries, not just European countries. So it's the largest program for entrepreneurs in the European Union. One of the most important participants in this program is Spain. That is 23% of the participants. And this is financed by the European Commission. Who can participate in this program? New entrepreneurs. And new entrepreneur means that you have maybe just one idea to develop a startup, or you want to start your own business. It's not necessary to already start the business. And if you start, it can be less than 3 years. And the other side of the program is the experienced entrepreneurs who host the new entrepreneur. Okay, this program offers you, it's not an internship program, it's more than an internship program, it's like an exchange of equals. It's like you will go to another country to see how an host entrepreneur with experience is working, and you learn from him. and he learns from you the youth vision of the idea of your project, and it's like a win-win relation. Okay, I will share with you all this presentation if you are interested, and I will share with you my email if you have any questions. The requirements to participate as new entrepreneur is to prepare a business plan that the intermediary of an organization has to approve. Don't have started your business in the last 3 years. There is no, doesn't matter the sector of the startup or the project. You have to be a resident in one of the European countries or third countries that can participate. You have the list of participating countries in the website of the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. And be highly motivated and prepared. Okay, this program is funded that the European Commission pay you for the accommodation and the travel expenses depending on the country. This is the profits of the program and the requirements for the host entrepreneurs. As also the same, you have to be a permanent resident or you have the working permission in one of the European countries or third countries. You have to be an owner or manager of one small medium enterprise or involved also in this. You have to run the business for several years and you'll be willing to share your knowledge. The profits, as I told you, is the work with an energetic and motivated new entrepreneur and benefit from the fresh look of a new entrepreneur that is working in the same field than you. This is an example of the financial amount that the European Commission offers you. For example, in Belgium is 830 euros per month. Here you have the website and you can find more information about this program. And if you have any doubts or questions, I will share with you my email. Other program is the Eurodise program. The Eurodise program is a program from the Assembly of the Regions of Europe. It's not a program for countries, it's for regions. So for example, in Spain, there are 3 regions participating. It's also an internship and mobility program. It's a duration from 3 up to 7 months. They also offer you language courses. They offer you the accommodation, the salary of the grant for the monthly allowance, and insurance, and a certificate of participating. The requirements are also being resident in one of the European countries and regions participating in the program. Those are the participating regions. Okay, as you can see in Spain, for example, is Catalunya, Comunidad Valenciana, Murcia, and in Belgium is the Wallon region and Brussels. Okay, there is the website of this program where you can find also more information. And the last one is Finova's program is called Next Talent Generation EU. This is a platform that we create from Finova with the idea to show all the young people all the possibilities for mobility or exchange the European Union offers. For example, the internships in the institutions, the internships in the European Parliament or the Commission, the internships in private foundations like Finova, internships in other organizations. Also, we will publish job offers, for example. This is the idea is to show all the possibilities in the framework of the European Union and European Pay, that is where Finova works. This is a screenshot of the website. And this is my email. If you have any doubt or questions, don't hesitate to contact me. And thank you very much to attend this webinar. And Juanma, when you want.
Okay. And now what I would like is to ask our colleague, a young Eurodise, that is doing a training in Finova Valencia, in our office in Valencia region, Christelle Poignet. I would like to ask and to offer your vision, and I want to recognize the effort from Christelle in helping to organize this event with my colleague Natalia, with Eduard, and with other colleagues that has been trying to organize this. Christelle, you have the floor. Christelle.
First of all, I would like to thank everyone for being here. Thank you for all the speakers. We have seen some impressive presentation and participation. We would like to thank you all. We were talking by emails and sometimes on the phone for some, and it was really a pleasure to see all of you now. Well, me, I'm an intern here at Finnova since June, and I'm with the program, Odyssey program. I have a particular background concerning my studies and also my origins. I'm from Congo-Brazzaville. I was born there and I grew up there. And then I went to France where I studied in marketing. And then I went to Belgium where I also did my bachelor degree there, specialized in marketing and businesses. And now I'm actually in Spain, thanks to the Eurodyssey program at Finnova. We actually, the company welcomed me in this, in their program, in their company, where I'm now trainee marketing specialist. It's a real pleasure for me to be here in Finnova because it was the first time for me that I was working in European projects, and it enabled me to actually attend a lot of events, learn a lot of projects about LATAM, about Africa, about also Asia, because we also did a webinar for Japan with also another intern who was also from Japan. So it gave me this big opportunity to learn about international projects. And it also enabled me to work and meet also people from the entrepreneur field. And today we did this really great event, and I want to thank all of the panelists for this. And I'm really grateful to Juanma, to also Natalia, who is my the one who is supervising me here. Thanks also Edward for his work, Javier, and all of the Finnova team who work here with me.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that Christelle is an example of what we can do, building capacity of the young people from Africa. In this, I want to highlight the fact that today is the United Nations Day of Entrepreneurship in Women, and also is a commemorative day about the reindustrialization. But okay, perhaps if I may, what we have in Finnova, we manage some EU funding that allow to us to engage young people from, for example, from Spain under Youth Guarantee, and then imagine that entities from Ghana want to contact the consul of Ghana in Spain to try to help us to identify young people from Ghana to have an experience as Christelle in Brussels. Or we have these bilateral programs that allows, as Eurodyssey, that someone from Brussels, as Christelle, is in our office in Valencia. The future is of the young people, and we need to train them to do that capacity building. As Alberto has explained, we have developed some e-learning EU funding training programs of 40 hours that are available. We have to understand how to manage that EU funding, to have that that approach that has to be comprehensive and also holistic, that could combine EU funding with also private investment, why not with funding from other in development international banks. And now we are just at the end of the event, and I want to give the floor to Mr. To our colleague from the Foro Euroafricano, that will explain what the Foro Euroafricano is. They organized some weeks ago in Sevilla an award ceremony for the cooperation Euro-Africa. Is for me, I received the invitation to become one of the members of the council of this Foro Euroafricano. And okay, you have the floor, Mr. Yubula Bacier, who is the president of the Euroafricano, of the Foro Euroafricano, Euroafricano Forum. Yubula, you have the word. Tienes la palabra, Yubula. Hola. Yubula. No sé si tiene algún problema técnico. Okay, in the meantime, we want to profit the occasion. Yubula, tienes la palabra.
Sí, es que parece que tenía el audio.
Sí,
¿Me escucháis, no?
Sí, pero ya no te vemos. Conecta la cámara, hombre.
Vale. Ahora sí.
Ahora te escuchamos y te oíms.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead. You have the word.
Bueno, primero doy las gracias a la organización, especialmente a Juan Manuel Revuelta, Finova, que es uno de los correspondientes principal del Foro Euroafricano y también uno de los que están en el equipo de asesores, sobre todo del Foro Euroafricano. Es un gozo realmente de conocer la Fundación Finova, también es un gozo de conocer muchas personas dentro de España, dentro de los parlamentos españoles y dentro de algunas instituciones españolas que colaboran con nosotros del Foro Euroafricano. El Foro Euroafricano está creado sobre todo para impulsar todo lo que de emprendimiento social, de emprendimiento también de negocio y impulsar también las alternativas que va hacia la colaboración hacia África y de cooperación internacional. El Foro Euroafricano es sobre todo tender puentes de la posibilidad de África y Europa. Y todo lo que pretendemos, todo lo que el Foro pretende es de ver las alternativas de cómo realmente la juventud africana que se emigran aquí en Europa y que quieren emigrarse en Europa sin ningún futuro a venir. El foro es primero sensibilizar a aquellas personas que quieren entrar y segundo ver cuál podría ser proyectos, posibilidades de trabajar al origen. Trabajando al origen siempre no prevalece a que las personas que quieren venir se quedan ahí. No estamos diciendo que la gente se quedan ahí porque cada uno tiene la posibilidad y tiene realmente su decisión de ir donde quiere, ¿no? Y la posibilidad del foro es primero sensibilizarle, impulsar a aquellas personas que quieren tener un trabajo en los países africanos y que no tienen trabajo, también que quieren tener formación y que no tienen formación.
Excuse me, Yubula, 1 second, just for the people that does not understand English, just to inform our colleague Eduard Galan is the chat is publishing in the keywords of the message from Mr. Bacier.
Okay, I can speak small English. I try to explain within English.
Perfect. Go ahead, please, Yubula.
Okay, thank you so much, Finova. Thank you so much, the organization peoples and Ghana peoples. The Foro Euroafricano is one organization we are create to tend breaks from Africa in Europe. See the innovation, the sustainability to help our youth in Africa. They want to come there in Europe. But sometimes it's very important to create cooperation. create project, create sustainability, and create entrepreneurship to help our peoples who want to come here in Europe. Sometimes our brothers in Africa have some wrong information to the Europe. We know sometimes it's facile to come and get some work, but sometimes our brothers, they are coming to the sea, they are coming to the border. Sometimes it's very complicated because we lost a lot of the life. And the photo, our preoccupation is to sensibilize, to help and create some possibility with the African government, African parliament, or some African institution to help us and get this cooperation from Europe. And our possibility to give a scholarship, give formation our brothers and our sisters in Africa for help of the Finova specialty. We thanks Juan Manuel Revuelta for the cooperation, for the help, for move our group, for move our forum. And we think it's better in the future trying to move together some project with Finova to help our people in Africa. And this forum is open to anywhere, to everybody, specifically our brothers and sisters, Africans or Europeans, they want to cooperate with us. For that, I would give thanks for all the organization of Finova and all of the organization of Ghana people and all of the organization of Foro Euroafricano. And we think we will try to work together. We will try to do some project together. We will try to do some sensibilization together and see how the possibility to get strong and good results. Thank you so much.
Okay, Jebula, thank you very much. Jebula from the Foro Euroafricano that is starting also to try to connect, as he has explained, bridges from different NGOs, organizations, but also with people from politicians, from the government. And okay, in that big challenge that we have for Africa. And of course, energy is one of the key issues in today about mobility. And okay, in a sustainable mobility and new mobility, looking for low-cost technologies, not only for mobility, for other purpose. Anyway, we are at the end of the session. It's 23 minutes past 18, and I want to thanks, and I ask for a virtual applause to all the team of Finova that has been working hard to facilitate this event. I'm talking of Cristel, Natalia Cediel, Eduard Galant with interpretation and all the management, with all the department of the IT department, as with Mr. Eduardo Mercado, but also Javier Cortés, Daniel Gomez, Álvaro, and all the other colleagues that have been working hard in this event. And of course, thank you very much to all the panelists, the speakers that has been connected this afternoon. And I want to profit the occasion to launch now at the end of November, 1 week after the COP26 that pretended we were in Glasgow, and also we have a specific event about sustainable mobility, last mile, and it was in a European Commission parallel event with the United Nations from Brussels. And we are in that day of the entrepreneurship for women and for the reindustrialization in Africa. And if I may, I want to thank and to share with all of you the award we have received in Slovenia this week. It was on the Tuesday. We received an award. It's behind me. You can see there. We were the winner in Spain, and after we have competed with all the other 27 countries, and the winner from all over Europe is our foundation, Finnova, because we have launched the Firefighting Open Innovation Lab. It's a lab for innovation in the field of forest management. And what's the link with energy and with mobility? Look, if we are able to recollect the waste from the forest and the waste from the agricultural sector, there are different low-cost technologies that allow to us to transform into new fuel, new biogas, etc. I'm talking of pyrolysis, methanization, thermocracking, etc. Let's try to work in a better world. And for me, it's impressive when you see the figures. FAO, the Agency of Food from United Nations, has an analysis that says every year around 350 million hectares are burned, are deforested. And it means 3% of the total surface of the tierra, of the earth. And we have to build up also a new way of working with the earth. And it's because of that we will appreciate to extend what we have learned in Europe, into Europe. With that, we have mobilized more than 30 million euros to identify more than 30 nice innovative projects in the field of prevention of firefighting, or of fire, for innovation in firefighting, but also in reforestation. And in Africa, we have also that challenge. And okay, we wanted to share with you, and talking about that, that open innovation tool that is Startup Europe Awards. I want to launch an open call for partners in Africa. We would like a partner in every country about energy. And we are doing that in November because we want to launch the different national editions from January 2022. And Startup Europe Awards is an open innovation tool with the support of the DG Connect. And you have a photo behind us with the President Tajani at the time when we organized before pandemic into the European Parliament with some commissioners. Then we would like to have a partner from Ghana, why not from Nigeria, from every country. Today, we are opening for that energy. Of course, there are other challenges linked to United Nations, that is water, food, agriculture. It will come later. But for the moment, we have been doing that not only into Europe, but also in Latin America. We have done in Mexico, thank you very much, and in Chile. Chile, we organize in Ciudad Futuro for smart cities, and in Mexico, it was about sustainability in agriculture, also with an important focus in energy. Anyway, 2022 is in our strategic roadmap Africa is into, and more than open through my team to receive your mails, to start that networking that allow to us to work together to identify nice and low-cost technologies to implement in Africa. And in the meantime, what we would like is to host young people and also startups from Africa to try to develop together realistic, practical, and positive projects in the field of energy in mobility. Thank you very much. I wish you a safe weekend. Take care, because COVID start to be again a big problem in north of Europe. I don't know how it's in Africa, but please try to take care, to be safe, and let's keep in contact. Thank you very much. And now please stay connected, because we are going to share with you some videos about climate risk, that project that Mr. Piernavieja has explained before from the Instituto Tecnológico of Canarias, and other nice videos that we want to share with you. Let's keep in contact. Thank you very much, and good afternoon.
De la ayuda humanitaria entre países en el caso de catástrofes naturales son clave para mejorar la eficacia y eficiencia de las acciones para ayudar a la población civil. Canarias tiene una vasta experiencia en el desarrollo de tecnologías para el suministro de energía y agua en zonas aisladas de la red eléctrica y en el desarrollo de planes para la adaptación y prevención de catástrofes naturales provocadas por los efectos del cambio climático. Por estas razones se unen el Centro de Cooperación para África de Cruz Roja, el Instituto Tecnológico de Canarias y la Universidad de Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, dando lugar al proyecto ClimaRisk, que persigue la resiliencia 100% sostenible y que tiene como objetivos: 1. Soluciones tecnológicas para el suministro de energía, agua y frío, desarrollando un módulo contenedor de producción de energía eléctrica, un módulo contenedor de producción de agua potable, un módulo contenedor de producción de frío y un módulo de aseo. Todos estos módulos están desarrollados para tener un funcionamiento a partir de fuentes 100% renovables. 2. Estudios de arquitectura y planificación territorial para aumentar la resiliencia de poblaciones vulnerables, dando formación a comunidades en riesgo extremo por emergencia de catástrofes naturales. 3. Desarrollo de sistemas y herramientas, incluyendo software y protocolos para control y transporte de alimentos para los comités de seguridad alimentaria de Senegal y Mauritania, que faciliten su propia capacidad de respuesta en situaciones de riesgo. ClimaRisk, estrategias y soluciones tecnológicas para la adaptación al cambio climático y la prevención y gestión de riesgos en países de la Gran Vecindad. Un proyecto que suma.
Ideas. There are ideas that change the way we work.
In other centuries, they would have called it magic.
Ideas that got us connected.
Well, hold the line a minute.
That made us communicate better with each other.
Hello?
Ideas that got smarter and smarter and smarter. They're the ones that caused revolutions.
Goodbye, David.
And others that seem like a thing of the past now. There are the ones that are obsolete and ideas that promised us freedom, but in the end delivered us nothing but stress, that we tried to compensate with funny ideas. We thought of something different. A simple idea that turns idle workspace into places where you connect with companies, where you share knowledge with other creative minds or digital nomads. Where you are is where you work. You spend fewer hours on the road and you gain precious time for a better work-life balance. It's called Work Hero. Is it a game changer?
I beg your pardon?
We like to think so, but we'll let you be the judge of that. Check out Work Hero on workhero.com. Work Hero, connecting space and knowledge.
I'm delighted, and I hope we'll be able to do it again, and also that the solutions which were showcased here can maybe inspire real-life solutions in the future.
Es un honor que hayan contado con nosotros como aceleradora, con nuestro programa Startup Europe Accelerator, en el primer hackathon con el director general de innovación de la Comisión Europea para soluciones en el campo de cambio climático y reducción de emisiones.
I also congratulate Finova, which was part of the winning team, a team which worked on a really interesting solution to make construction at long last sustainable. Well done. Thank you very much.
Proyecto ClimaRisk está en reuniones y conversaciones que mantuvimos en su día con diferentes departamentos de Naciones Unidas dedicados a ayuda humanitaria, que nos manifestaron la necesidad de actualizar tecnológicamente pues, las respuestas que se dan pues, a campos de refugiados o a zonas afectadas por catástrofes naturales en lo que respecta a suministro de bienes básicos como energía eléctrica. En ese sentido, en el ITC y dentro del proyecto ClimaRisk hemos desarrollado una solución para proveer de energía eléctrica con energías renovables, de agua y de frío pues, a estas zonas, pues, a estos campos de refugiados o a estas zonas que sufren entre los orígenes catástrofes. En concreto, el sistema se compone de una unidad de potencia donde incluimos toda la parte relacionada con electricidad solar, paneles solares y sistemas de acumulación, una planta de tratamiento de agua en un contenedor, también con la posibilidad de captar agua atmosférica, ¿no? Y todo alimentado con energías renovables, y sistemas o contenedores que pueden refrigerar medicamentos o alimentos.
Déjeme.
Una nueva línea de capitalización de proyectos en el marco de la nueva convocatoria de 2022. La capitalización consiste en metodologías y soluciones tecnológicas que, desarrolladas en proyectos de convocatorias anteriores, tengan potencial replicabilidad en otros países del ámbito de cooperación del programa. El ITC en Africagua 2022 presentará soluciones tecnológicas y metodologías centradas en el nexo de energía agua y frío, en la depuración natural, la desalación con fuentes 100% renovables y las microredes eléctricas como opción para suministro de energía en zonas aisladas. Estos ejemplos de proyectos de capitalización centrarán la actividad del ITC en marco de Africagua 2022.
Bueno, el ITC apoya los esfuerzos que se hacen desde Canarias, desde el gobierno de Canarias y desde otras instituciones nacionales y europeas por transferir tecnologías energéticas limpias a países menos desarrollados, sobre todo países de la costa occidental de África, en nuestro entorno geográfico. Estamos muy activos en Cabo Verde, en Senegal, Mauritania, Marruecos, y toda la experiencia que se ha desarrollado en la búsqueda de soluciones técnicas para superar barreras a la penetración de energías renovables variables e intermitentes, como la eólica y la fotovoltaica, esas soluciones posteriormente tratamos de aplicarlas. Esas soluciones desarrolladas en estas islas geográficas, tratamos de aplicarlas a lo que son islas energéticas, que es lo que encontramos en el continente africano, en estas comunidades rurales, carentes de infraestructura de transporte eléctrico, se comportan como islas energéticas, en donde actualmente se suministran muchos de estos núcleos urbanos a partir de grupos diésel que consumen combustible fósil, y nos centramos en la búsqueda de integración de energía fotovoltaica eólica para tratar de reducir o eliminar el consumo de combustible fósil en estas comunidades rurales de países africanos. También estamos colaborando con ellos en lo que es la planificación energética, sobre todo buscando promover la eficiencia energética y el desarrollo de las energías renovables, y también dotándolos a ellos de capacitación a través de programas de formación.
Para ser abordados en Africagua. La disponibilidad de agua en el territorio y de cómo organizar este recurso, ya no solo en África, también en Canarias, son elementos clave. Y Africagua es un foro estratégico para poder abordar mediante proyectos o servicios tecnológicos soluciones de cara a la resiliencia y abordar todos los retos que nos depara el futuro.